And they're off in the Florida Derby.
And it's Swab Prospect in front. Here comes There goes the show. Inseparable on the line. Unwavering. Here's the finish. It's very close. 2 pumps to go. And Empire Maker suddenly opens up 5. Empire Maker, yes. Empire Maker pushes the Florida Derby field and wins by 8. Here comes Monarcos with an eye-catching middle move. And Monarcos has ranged up 4 wide. And Monarcos swept by a ball at the far turn. And he's going to be the Florida Derby winner.
Courtland Simmons with you here at the CS Racing Report with the Florida Derby preview podcast. And as you look at the post positions, as we take a look at the 11-horse field for this $750,000 major Derby prep that served very, very well. A lot of the horses coming out of it at the 9 furlong distance. Greatest Honor is the talk of the town. He's mowed down the competition, whether you think it was weak or somewhat inadequate in both the Holy Bull and the Fountain of Youth. He was very impressive in making up the ground. Can he do that against what looks to be a better group of horses on the front end that are showing speed and stalking and pouncing? You got no less than 5 or 6, half the field, that have that running style. And among those 5 or 6 horses, 2 are very interesting. Actually, 3 or 4 are very interesting. Starting at the bottom with Soup and Sandwich. He's 20-1. He's won at 6 furlongs and 1 mile and 70 yards. It may be a big ask for him to stretch out against these horses, but he looks promising. His Equibase numbers are pretty good. And anytime a horse is undefeated, you got to respect him a little bit. So I like him for trainer Mark Casse. He's a horse that you may be able to use on the tail end of your exotics, your Superfecta picks. Then there's, of course, Known Agenda. He is, of course, trained by the master of winning Florida Derbies, Todd Pletcher. They're from the same outfit that produced 2017 Derby winner, both Florida and Kentucky. Always Dreaming. His speed figures are very, very good. The co-second highest Equibase with Spielberg out of the Baffert barn, who we're going to touch on in a minute here. He's won twice at 1 mile and 1/8. One of those wins was against Greatest Honor as a 2-year-old. And then, of course, he was very impressive at the home of the Florida Derby, at the Florida Derby route, by 11 lengths on the 26th of February. His numbers look excellent. He seems to want the distance. Can he do that against this kind of horse? And he seems to be a really good candidate to do that. Known Agenda. And then there's the Saffie Joseph Jr. train, Collaborate. He was also very impressive in winning at the flat mile. He won by 12 lengths the day after Collaborate, the day after Known Agenda was so impressive. And he looks like a horse that I think can stretch out over the distance and handle some pace pressure. And he seems to be fitting the role of being the maximum security in this 2020 69th edition, or 2021 69th edition of the Florida Derby. He looks like that kind of horse that can jump up to the 9 furlong route and pose problems for everybody. And he might be too quick for anyone to really be able to keep up, although I do believe there's some horses that are going to have their sights. They're going to have him in his sights going around there. But I think he's dangerous in here, and he could very well punch himself a ticket to the Kentucky Derby. He's got a good number on him in terms of speed figures, just a little bit of low Soup and Sandwich, but he's very interesting in here. Hence, the picks, it influences the picks that I'm going to make in terms of these Superfecta choices. Obviously, the third pick that I have is the pick that a lot of you are going to make your primary one, and that's Greatest Honor winning the number 7 over the number 5, Known Agenda, the number 10, Spielberg, checking in third, and then number 8, that again being Soup and Sandwich, giving you a little value at 20-1. He might be a higher number, so that could be a very nice payout. 7, 5, 10, 8, or the 9, Collaborate. He still could give you value. Or you can go and flip it in terms of the place and show, where Greatest Honor, the 7, the 10, the 5, and then the 9, which would be Collaborate, or once again the 8, Soup and Sandwich. So that's kind of a couple of dual scenarios in terms of, one of the options. Another one would be Known Agenda, living up to the promise I think he has to win over Spielberg with Greatest Honor third, and then number 9, of course, once again, Collaborate being used. There's an undercurrent theme, or an underlying theme here. 5, 10, 7, 9. Or you could possibly jump up and make Collaborate that maximum security front-running win bet with the 9, the 10, the 7, and the 5. Similar numbers there. And then my final pick, again, I don't have as much the brooding confidence prior to really breaking the field down as before. But I think Spielberg's race in the Southwest against the Central Quality was sneaky good. Finished 4 1/4 lengths behind the champion 2-year-old, one of the likely Derby favorites. Over and off track, I think he's going to like Gulfstream Park. I think that he's going to be able, along with a couple other horses, to be able to get first run on Greatest Honor. I don't think he can toy around and toil in the back of the field and catch these horses, even with the added distance, the way he did in those other 2 stake wins. That's my hunch. And so therefore I like Spielberg just by a little bit, but these other choices, Known Agenda, possibly Collaborate, I think are very, very good, smart, smart girl, smart guy bets. So, but again, I'll give Spielberg a little edge. I think a lot of you believe he's the weaker entity from the West Coast in terms of horses being able to compete well against the East, but I think he's getting good at the right time, and that pedigree, that Union Rags pedigree, should come to the forefront with these longer distances. So it's 10-5-7-1. Or you can go 10-5-7 and then maybe once again use the 8 or the 9. So those are my picks for the 69th running of the Florida Derby in Hallandale, Florida from Gulfstream Park. We'll certainly do some recapping of that and the other stakes down the line right here at the CS Racing Report.